All right, guys. We're going to watch a little compilation of highlights from a debate between Destiny and Owen Schroyer. Um, it's hilariously one sided, of course, but this is, just to be clear, this is not the entire debate. It's way too long, and I really don't want to go through all that. But I've seen bits and pieces before of this particular debate. It's hilarious. So, yeah, to be clear, this is not in any way the right's best, but it is representative of the big picture in a pretty important way, in my opinion. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, to be a pundit for the right, you don't need any knowledge whatsoever. You don't need anything. You don't need credentials. You don't need to understand important concepts in politics at all. Like, you got people like Candace Owens who like know nothing about anything all over the place. It's like insane. It's so one-sided that it's like amazing to me. Like, how do you run politics like that? And how can you get away with it? Like, what is going on? Like, are right wingers like so, what's the word, tribalistic, that like they're like, yeah, that's my side, and like they don't even care about facts. They don't even care about whether things are true or not. Like, completely delusional shit like gets spewed, and it doesn't even matter. And it's like, how the fuck? Like, how can you get away with that? Are there not some people at least that are like, this is retarded? Because I don't see it. I don't ever see it on the right. I don't see, like, on the left, you see people that like they disagree all the fucking time. They're like, oh, that's fucking retarded. Like, uh, Cenk Uygur will say some shit, and I'm like, well, what the fuck did you just say? Like, all the damn time it happens. But on the right, it's like it's funny because they say the opposite. They say that like the left is in lockstep. It's completely the other way around. Like, do we live in two different realities or something? Like, the right always deals in this lockstep, sort of like everyone has to be in this like hive mind, that like everything like a right winger says is like automatically from then on enshrined as like gospel. It's so fucking weird. It's like some damn weird brainwashing technique or something. But anyhow, this is, in my opinion, representative of a bigger problem. And it's like, to me, it's like clear. Like, the right don't really have anything. They like, it's only like emotional appeals and shit, and like blaming stuff that's like using like straw men, or like, for example, immigrants. They'll like we have clear data that shows why we're in the situation we're in, like economically, and it's obvious. It's like clear as hell. But the right live in this like weird bubble, like devoid of reality, to where they point because some idiot that's like paid as like a fucking uh corporate fucking hack tells them that like, oh yeah, guys, it's immigrants. And then it like rings the racist bell in their head, and they're like, oh yeah, that's right. Like, even though it's clear as fuck that that's not true. Like, every economist worth their salt has made it abundantly clear at this point that the Trump specific plan to get rid of like pretty much everyone, and even just illegal immigrants, would be disastrous for the US economy. So people do this thing where they're like, yeah, the economy is why I voted. And then you tell them that, and then they go, yeah, I don't care. I'll deal with it. And I'm like, so why the fuck did you, like, you claim that you voted because of the economy, and this is going to make the economy worse than you could imagine. Not to mention the tariffs, which every economist says is fucking retarded in their own words. Like, it's like you don't, like, people who actually do the work, the people that like go to school for these things, explain to us in vast detail why these are absolutely fucking moronic. But you don't care. It's like you live in your own reality. It's like flat earthers almost. It's like, yeah, that's the liberal agenda. They've taken over education and blah. No, it's just fucking facts, dude. Like how can you think like this? Like you think, like many of you anyway, think that a magical dude in the sky created you because some book written thousands of years ago by fucking men told you. Like, it would be like if I were like, dude, Pinocchio's real because it says so in the book, man. Like, it's hilarious. And it's even worse when you deny reality because of these beliefs. Like, you have some people that try to cite the more insane people cite the Bible as factual evidence that the earth is flat. I'm not making this shit up. It's like fucking amazing how these people can just live in this false reality in their own head. And it's like the right in general are guilty of this. It's like, it's crazy to me. But they, like, the bigger thing that I'm trying to get across here is they don't ever produce any sort of like intelligentsia at all, ever. Like, the closest thing you have to it are like minds like Ben Shapiro, who just talks really fast and lies a lot. And then he'll claim that other people are being emotional when he's obviously the one that's being emotional. And then when someone on the left actually who can actually debate goes to debate him, he won't accept it unless they're like softballing him, and will be like ultra polite, like kind of like Sam Harris did. And he made sure of it before he even accepted it. It was like so fucking obvious. And still fucking Harris destroyed his dumbass. But, and then you've got people like Jordan Peterson who are like mentally unstable that like break down and start crying repeatedly, because I believe that Peterson legitimately knows that he's crazy. He knows that there's something wrong with him. I personally believe that like the friend that died, and by the way, I'm not knocking on him. I'm just saying he's not someone that you should be going to for your information. Like his friend died and it really fucked him up in the head. And like he started going down these strange like Jungian pathways to where he starts seeing patterns that aren't real. He starts like making these, like, again, I brought up Pinocchio, and that's a good one because he starts doing these like stories, and he's like, this is the importance of Pinocchio. And it's not what the author intended. It's what Jordan Peterson's head created. It's a pattern in his head. And he's like, and he's making it as if his interpretation of Pinocchio is like a factual, like foundational thing that's like in philosophy. It's like the philosophy of Pinocchio. And that's not the fucking case. That's your personal interpretation, dude. Like, you're fucking crazy. But anyway, all that's beside the point. I could go on fucking forever. But they just don't ever produce people who are logical. And this is one of the worst, admittedly, but still it should be funny.
First of all, what cities are so expensive to live in? Democrat-run cities.
When those cities are expensive, do you acknowledge that those cities produce more economic output for the country than all the red cities? This is what I mean when I say these people don't live in reality. But like, why can't you acknowledge that? Because you'll very quickly say things like, oh, well, there are more homicides in Chicago. Yeah, there's more people that live in Chicago. And Chicago is what makes Illinois all its money. That's where the money comes from, or the blue cities. It's not just blue states that subsidize the existence of red states, which is true. And by the way, all of those governors were so happy for the American Rescue Plan when Biden was there to hand out money to shore up their budgets. But then when you want to talk about expenses and living and all these other things, now you want to talk about how blue cities need to be held responsible, but you don't give them credit for the economic output.
It's a nice deflection. So Democrat cities are the most expensive to live in. So I'm glad you at least acknowledge that. And again,
more expensive to live in the U.S. than Uganda as well, right? It is, right?
We live in a constitutional republic. We don't live in a democracy.
What is the contradiction there? What do you think? Hold on. What is a republic and what is a democracy?
A democracy is where a bunch of lunatics like you can vote away my rights. A democracy is where 3 wolves and a sheep vote what's for dinner.
Is that Article 5 or Article 6? I don't know. I don't know what part of the
So you
Constitution.
asked what a
So a
democracy
democracy is when
We
multiple people vote. A republic is when you have representatives that do things for you. We are a representative democracy. That's why we're a constitutional republic. We are both a republic, which just means you're not a monarchy and a democracy. This idea that we must be a republic because I'm a Republican and we're not a democracy because you're a Democrat is, come on.
It's kind of sad. Like he's almost having to like help him. It's like he's dog walking his fucking opponent. He's like, dude, like you don't understand basic fucking concepts. This is the very foundational shit that you like learn in fucking middle school. Like you need to understand this before we even go further in politics. Like this guy is an absolute fucking imbecile. Wow.
So again, we live in a constitutional republic where we have unalienable rights given to us by God, the creator. Democrats don't want you to know that because they want to be able to vote away your rights, like they want to be able to vote away your Second Amendment rights, vote away your First Amendment rights, and they'll go right down the line, okay? So that's why these people love democracy. Because
When we
they
say
want
vote
to be
away
able
your
to
rights, are we
vote
talking
away
about
your rights.
abortion that we lost to a conservative Supreme
what
Court?
bill-
Are we
what
talking
bill
about the
of
Second
rights?
Amendment when Donald Trump did the bump stock ban? I'm sorry, how
a
were your
bad
gun
ban.
rights attacked under Biden?
It was a bad ban.
And they came under Donald Trump. So why would he be the guy, no offense, but a liberal from New York, which is what Donald Trump is, that's the guy that you want defending your gun rights? Tim Walz and Kamala Harris both own firearms. Walz is a hunter. When was the last time you saw Trump with a firearm? I watched Roseanne, it was Roseanne, I think, with a firearm, right? Where she almost killed herself on a Twitter video with one? Jesus Christ.
In the Bill of Rights, where is abortion mentioned?
Do you want to get into the constitutional legal construction of the penumbra of rights that are invoked when you try to get like the right to privacy
You
out
brought
of
up,
the 14th
you said,
and
you claim there's a right to an abortion. It just
I didn't
doesn't
claim there was a
exist.
right to an abortion. Technically, the abortion right comes from a right to privacy, but we'd have to go over Casey and Roe, and I'm sure that you're not familiar with any of those Supreme Court cases, or probably any Supreme Court case. But the reality is that before you had a protected right to seek an abortion, now you don't. Republicans took that from you. Before you had the right to own a bump stock, Donald Trump banned bump stocks through executive action, by the way.
Which lost at the Supreme Court.
Which what?
Lost at the Supreme Court.
Well, that hasn't stopped him in the past from going back over and over again to try to get cases tossed or to try to get.
Hey man, I don't live in a
so-
cult. I said I have disagreements with Donald Trump. So you can attack me on Trump's policies that I disagree with. It's not a win for you.
I agree. I can't win attacking you on Trump's policies because he has none. I mean, what am I? I mean, yeah. What can you give me one? What is one Trump policy that he's running on besides 20% tariffs?
Secure border.
That's not a policy. That's
Cut
like an idea.
taxes.
That's the concept of an idea of a
Stopping
policy.
war.
Okay.
What are Harris policies that are so great?
Well, the three that she listed immediately is she wanted to give a $50,000 rollover deduction to new startups or small businesses. So
That
when
was
they start
Trump's
to-
idea?
What?
Trump did that.
Maybe he should have spoke it. I don't know if he's too senile
No, you
now or
probably
he
just
wants the
weren't
ability to do it. What?
You just weren't watching.
I was watching. Unfortunately, I watched too much Trump. That was one. A second thing she.
So he tried to corner Destiny by asking him like, "Oh, okay, you said like I can't answer your question or I can't deal with what you're throwing at me, so let me throw it back on you." And immediately Destiny's prepared. He knows what the fuck he's doing. He understands the shit he's talking about. So he immediately has answers for it. And obviously Harris actually put forth issues. She actually gave policies, unlike Trump. And so it's hilarious. He tried to like corner him and then like immediately he fucking has his answer. And then the dude has nothing. So he just lies. This is what right wingers do. They have no substance. So they just have to lie. It's their only available tactic. So they're like, Trump said that. No, he fucking didn't. Like, that's retarded.
He wanted to do was expand the child tax credit, which was incredibly successful under Biden.
Also a Trump policy.
It wasn't. That's why it happened under Biden, and it's why the Republicans initially fought against it.
Wow.
Are we going to say that pre-existing conditions in the ACA was a Trump policy now as well? I know that he wants to take care of that one. And then the third thing that Kamala Harris said is she wanted to do a $15,000 first-time home buyer credit to people that were buying homes for the first time. Donald Trump said he wanted
For illegal immigrants.
I'm so curious. How do you think these tax credits work?
You do realize that they give money to illegal immigrants to buy houses?
I don't
No,
think
they
you know how
don't.
any of this works because I think you're probably born a rich kid. You never bought a house on an FHA loan before. So I had a tax
Fucking
credit
idiot.
when I bought a house. The way that these work is you apply for these refundable tax credits when you get them at the end of the year when you qualified for them. An illegal immigrant definitionally doesn't file taxes because they don't have social security numbers. They don't get money back from the government. So how would an illegal immigrant qualify for a tax credit? Again, this doesn't make any sense. It's like the hurricane.
I agree.
cheese.
It doesn't make any sense. This is the Democrat policy. I completely agree. It doesn't make any sense at all. So
Where are
thank
these
you.
lazy people that are coming over and
The point he's making is that it doesn't happen. It's a lie. They've constantly done this thing where they're giving illegal immigrants all this money. You cannot get money from the federal government without a social security number. It's very fucking simple. You've been lied to, you fucking morons. You just like they just cooked up some fucking lies and you just spew it and regurgitate it as if it were like fucking gospel. Like I said, what a moron. Like, look at him. He knows he's a moron. He's like, God damn, I'm getting destroyed here.
Not working and not getting jobs, getting the money for homes.
The U.S. government.
They pay them for the homes too? Then why even give them the tax credit? Why not just give them the homes outright?
Don't give them any ideas. They might do that next. Who ran the insurrection?
Donald Trump and the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers and everybody that broke into the Capitol and delayed the certification of the vote.
Do you really believe that?
Was the vote certification delayed?
What is an insurrection?
Wait, was the vote was the vote certification delayed on January 6th?
No, it went through. They certified. Did Trump?
Hold on. I'm so sorry. I don't know who you're answering right now. Was the vote certification delayed? Was Congress called out of session on January 6th?
Yes, I think for a couple hours.
For several hours.
So by the end of the day,
why were they called out of session?
So by the end of the day,
you see how we can't live in reality? You see how this doesn't work? The country doesn't function when you have people.
If you want
that
to go back and call this an insurrection,
the craziest thing is it's all on video. We've seen all of this.
So
none of this is a mystery.
Tell me what an insurrection is. Just define it for me.
I don't have to define it for you. I'm just asking simple questions. On January 6th, there was a certification of the vote. That vote was disrupted by violence. If you want to get into what an insurrection is, you could say that it was a crowd of people that had gathered with a common purpose to use the means of violence or intimidation to disrupt an official federal proceeding, such as the certification of the 2020 vote, the outcome of that election, which is why it would probably qualify as an insurrection. You guys filmed this from start to finish. We can watch you guys cheering for it. We can watch you cheering 1776. What was 1776?
I know you hate 1776.
Wait, I know you hate
that.
What was 1776? What was that?
That was the founding of the country.
What was the event? What would you call that?
When we overthrew royalty and created a constitutional republic.
Would you call that an insurrection?
No.
No. 1776, the revolution. You wouldn't call that an insurrection?
So are you pro-insurrection now? You just babble and stammer so much, I can't figure out where you're at. Tell me what kind of an insurrection, when an emergency notice goes out to go home, everybody goes home and calls it a day. Is that
what kind of an insurrection ends when the leader tells his followers to go home? All of them.
Perfect.
That's how it works. That's how a cult works.
So there was no insurrection. Trump didn't want to overthrow the government. Thank you for admitting that. That wasn't too hard to get out of you.
We can't even follow basic logic.
No,
1776 was an insurrection. It was a
now
revolution.
You're deflecting again to 1776.
I'm not deflecting.
So
I'm referring
Trump wanted to
specifically.
insurrect
It's
the
funny
government,
that you stand
but he
outside
told his
saying
followers to go home.
1776 and go, well, is this really an insurrection? Well, I don't know. What were we cheering for? The Star Spangled Banner? The saddest thing is that as much as I can't stand conservatives because I'm a liberal/progressive, at the very least, I felt like we were all kind of in the same boat. We were all kind of like the same country, and we were all presenting at least a unified front to the rest of the world. And as much as conservatives and Democrats might have hated each other, at least we were all Americans at the end of the day.
And when did that change?
When did that change? Well, a big change.
When Donald Trump became president of the United States. And they lost their mind because they couldn't control him. They couldn't bully him. They couldn't get him to bow down to political correctness. And so this is them stuttering and spamming all over the place like lunatics, trying to get Donald Trump killed, assaulting Trump supporters, and lost their minds. Why do you think Elon Musk left the Democrat Party? Why do you think Tulsi Gabbard left the Democrat Party? Why are so many Democrats like Vernon Jones leaving the Democrat Party? Because this is your Democrat voter right here. Nobody wants to be a part of this psychotic movement anymore.
Psychotic movement when you guys literally tried. You guys invaded the Capitol.
Your side believes in trans kids. Your side wants to pay for trans surgeries in the prisons.
This is, it's his only tactic. One, he's claiming that Destiny pivoted when he's the only person that ever pivoted from the topic. Every time he started losing, because Destiny actually knows what the fuck he's talking about, which is every time, he changes the topic. Now he's like flopping to like, what do you think? Tulsi Gabbard, obviously Tulsi Gabbard was never a fucking actual leftist in the first place. Same thing with Elon Musk. They're liars. Like, it's clear as fucking day. Like, they weren't like liberals and then they changed their mind. That's hilariously stupid. Like it doesn't take a lot of brain power to see what I'm talking about here. It's very fucking simple. And now he's starting into the fucking, like, the other lies. Like, they're trying to blah, blah, trans people in schools. Like, this is their only tactics. They have to lie all the time because they can't compete logically. It's all they do. Like, it's hilarious.
Acknowledge what
10
you've
million
done.
illegal immigrants. Your side starts wars all over the world. Our side is the party of sanity and the party of common sense. And if you can't see that in this debate, then you're never going to see it.
The party of sanity is the party that doesn't believe in dinosaurs and thinks that we create hurricanes.
What are you talking about?
Do you believe in dinosaurs?
What is this dinosaurs? What are you talking about dinosaurs?
Do you think the dinosaurs ever roam the earth?
Dinosaur
Do you think the
Why are you
dinosaurs
bringing this up?
Do you think the dinosaurs
is that
ever roam the
dinosaur
earth?
on your necklace right there? What
do
is that?
Do you think the dinosaurs roam the earth?
I'm not here to talk about dinosaurs.
It's insanity. It's crazy to me.
You know what? You're a political dinosaur. You're stuck in the past. This is the future right here.
You don't even acknowledge the outcome of the last fucking election. How am I the one stuck in the past?
You want to know what happens when you speak truth to power? Everything this guy just said. I've been censored. I've been imprisoned. I've been assaulted. I've had my businesses shut down. This guy's dealt with nothing except cucking to his wife's boyfriend.
See, and he thinks it's a gotcha. Like, this is how their brains operate. Like, they'll try to do like a character attack as like a means. They'll character attack and try to like hurt his like reputation or character as if they somehow thought that they made a logical debate tactic or premise. Like they're all fucking morons. Like this only happens when you're losing. And this is why the right does this so often. They'll completely go off topic entirely and try to like, I'm the guy that did this and this and this and this, and try to like boost their self-esteem because they're insecure. They know that they're losing. They know that they have absolutely no fucking clue what they're talking about. It's like hilarious.
I see those 60 days in federal prison weren't kind to you. I'm sorry that you weren't able to do the podcast in prison like you wanted to. I know that's still upsetting you a lot. Only one of us up here has been arrested for trying to be a part of a coup or an insurrection against the United States. Only one of us up here hates this country. And I think it's pretty obvious it's the guy that doesn't even acknowledge the results of the last election. One of the most important foundational pieces of the United States.
So stop stealing them. So stop stealing them.
Which is
so
the,
stop stealing
no one
them.
is stealing it.
So
no one is
stop stealing them.
It's like, so he brings up the legitimate point. Like, you're the one that brought up the entire, like, I'm the guy that this is what happens when you speak truth to power or whatever. And then like Destiny brings up the legitimate point that, yeah, you're on the side that literally tried to start a fucking insurrection and you went to prison for it. And you're trying to get people to fucking like, hooray. Like, it's hilarious. And then he swaps it again and then like acts as if his reality is real. Like, then stop stealing it as if it were ever real. Like, like these people are in some crazy fucking alternate reality where Donald Trump won the election. Notice how we're not doing this now. We're not going, oh my God, it's fucking bullshit. Donald Trump stole the election. Like, only one side does this. They're like so emotional. They're like little fucking children. It's hilarious. Like, guys, if this is the best you got, fuck. Like, wow. Wow. I don't even agree with everything Destiny says, but like, he at least does his homework. He at least knows to some extent the information necessary for the topics that he's going into. The right always come with this shit. Like nothing, like emotional appeals and like character attacks because they're stupid. They have no information. And apparently you don't need any if you're on the right. Like these people, like they didn't just rise like out of thin air. It's because the right accept this. It's because they've spurred it on and like allowed him to succeed. And that tells you what the right are. It's hilarious. It's fucking like it blows my mind. How does this happen? Why is it so normalized? Like it's like you're throwing out like an invitation and you're like you have this slogan of like the right. We're happy to be retarded. And like to prove it, that you'll put these people out there and like you get destroyed in the debate and then you're like, fuck yeah, got destroyed in a debate. But we're just going to claim that we won because we're retarded. Like I don't know. I can't fucking get my head around it. It's fucking it's like both funny and fucking sad at the same time. Wow. So I'm sure a lot of people feel like I'm mischaracterizing the right. So what I'll issue a challenge for you. I want you to give me your best. Give me your intellectual. Give me the people that you think cannot be defeated. And I'm some random fucking like idiot from North Carolina. Like like that has like almost no fucking information and like no history of fucking like economics or fucking political theory or any of that. I can fucking destroy them. Like guaranteed. No problem at all. And that's like my whole point here. Like this is the right. It's sad. Thank you for your time.